Good morning. Good, good morning, and welcome to Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Church in Pasadena. Welcome to all guests, members, friends. My name is Madeline Villeneuve, and I am a member of this year's Rites of Passage class. Neighborhood Church creates and grows an inclusive community connected by love, spirit, and service. We acknowledge our presence on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Gabrielino Tongva peoples, the traditional caretakers of the lands and waters of this campus. With respect for the rights and wisdom of the indigenous people, we acknowledge our harmful colonial histories and commit to decolonizing our own practices, to learning new ways of being in community with each other, in good relationship with the indigenous people of this land and with the land itself. Today's service is led by 5 members of the Rites of Passage class, along with Associate Music Director Wells Lang. Please take a moment to silence your devices as we begin our service. Families with young children are always welcome in the sanctuary, and there's additional seating in the entry foyer or the narthex. I have 3 brief announcements. Are you a visitor or a new member? Join Reverend Omega and Ginger Fury in the living room of Neighborhood House today after the service for a New to UU class, where we'll talk about the history of the church, Unitarian Universalism, and the path to membership. Celebrate joyously with free weddings on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Would you and your beloved like to get married or renew your vows in a private, affirming, and inclusive ceremony? Talk to Reverend Omega about this special day of love. If you have experienced loss during the recent fires, you are invited to attend a trauma-informed peer support group starting on Saturday, February 15th at 11 o'clock in the Neighborhood House. More extensive announcements, as well as our order of service this morning, are available as a link in the Sunday email. Our order of service is also visible online by scanning the QR code on the back of your hymnal with your phone camera. Again, welcome to Neighborhood Church, whoever you are and wherever you are in your spiritual journey. Welcome to this inclusive faith community connected by love, spirit, and service.
To kindle the spirit of love, to shine on what is good, to seek out what is needed, to illuminate the path to justice, we light this chalice.
We gather in this sacred space this morning to celebrate a very special moment in the cycles of our lives as Unitarian Universalists. Today is the Rites of Passage service. It's a special worship service planned and written entirely by our Rites of Passage students. This is an important marker of time because they are transitioning from middle school to the high school classroom, and for us, that means their time changes, the way they are in relationship with the rest of the community changes, and we are excited for that. Today we'll hear their faith statements. These are statements that are the culmination of months, right, of planning, writing, and practicing. Jacob, Abby, Gavin, Zach, and Madeline have been working hard with their teachers, with Elizabeth and Steve and Eugene, to craft these statements that reflect their journeys as Unitarian Universalists and as young adults in a changing world. We are reminded as a community in these moments of these sacred circles of how we live our lives, how we live and breathe into this community of faith, how we are intertwined, how our roles and our faith communities change over our lives. Indeed, I know that some of you have written faith statements like this, perhaps when you were young adults. Others have watched and helped our own children participate in this activity. And others, like our teachers today, have answered the call to be guides to this process for others, and for this we give thanks. So let us gather for a moment of shared silence as we listen to the sounds of the singing bowl this morning, with an invitation to hold your heart open as a way to welcome these young adults into this sacred circle, as a way to participate in their development and faith formation. So let us be silent for a moment of intention, a moment of care, a moment of encircling the power of our community and our rites of passage this morning.
Good morning. Please rise in body or in spirit and join in singing our gathering hymn, number 1064, Blue Boat Home.
I've been sailing all my life now. Good morning. We are so happy to have you here to share with us in this tradition today. As teachers of the Rites of Passage class, it has been our pleasure to guide and support the youth you see before you as they explore and learn to articulate their Unitarian Universalist faith. They came to us shaped by years of life experiences outside of neighborhood, from their schools, parents, friends, and families. Additionally, though, this year's class was unusually well bonded from the start, as they all knew each other from prior years in OWL and other RE classes here at Neighborhood. So the young people you are about to hear from today are truly reflections of this beloved community.
We still had some work to do in class, though. In our roles as mentors, we help them sort through all they have learned to hone in on what they believe, who they are, and what is important to them in their spiritual journey. We push them to dig deeper and engage in the highly valued UU tradition of asking questions and not settling for simple answers, to revel in complexity and nuance. At each juncture, they impressed us by being unafraid to seek their own answers to these questions and to share those answers first with us and now with all of you.
Today's service signifies a new chapter for these awesome young people, an end of childhood and a bridge to adulthood. As mentors to these ninth graders, we now put our trust in you, our neighborhood community, to guide and walk alongside them as they continue to grow as thoughtful and contributing members of our shared faith. Thank you.
My name is Jacob Villeneuve. I am 14 years old and I love my dogs. Also, I love archery, tennis, and my family. I go to Glendora High School and I've been coming to this church since I was in the womb, along with all my other siblings. My brother, my twin sister, and my mom's, and my grandma. Of course, there's my dogs as well. I'm not sure if I've believed in much in my life, but I do know I believe in these three things, and that is courage, balance, and preservation. Keeping the world in a better state, balanced state, for the generations to come. I developed this idea from those I have been around throughout my life, and it sparked from my parents with the information they fed me since I was an infant. Along with this church and the community. And after viewing our world's current state, Bandit, calm down. I believe that the world is on a path that is not balanced, and I want to make a difference by changing that path and keeping a balanced state. My goal is to become a marriage family therapist and to help others who are struggling. Whether aiding with a sense of empathy, logic, or reasoning, I want them to be in a healthy mindset, because to fix our world, we need to fix ourselves first. Balance is needed in many things I love. Archery, tennis, and even my love for my dogs. Balance is key to maintaining a world state. Those who live in a world must be aware of the state they keep the world in, and must keep it in an appropriate state for the generations to come. So not only people, but animals too, can be safe. Courage can come in many forms, yet it isn't as simple as one would typically think. Courage means you have the mental or moral strength to oppose someone or something. I got lots of ideas of courage from many people, but 3 role models or idols stood out to me the most. My godfather Wesley, who has always been able to keep a calm, collected mindset no matter the circumstance. My uncle Blvd, who has held strong resilience throughout his life and has kept pushing on and on. And lastly, my dogs. Piper, who's not here, and Bandit, who have shown very courageous acts in barking at the mailman, chasing the peacocks, and finally, and most importantly, rolling in dirt. Us people need to have that kind of courage to cure this world from things that will make us and our world break. Okay. For instance, things like violence, which could bring upon nuclear war, pollution, which could bring upon catastrophic climate change, and in which creates more devastating disasters, all which can be stopped from happening if we have the courage to stand up and fix the problems at hand. Because our world is not balanced right now. It is leaning towards a path of violence. We need a path that is equal. We need to stand up to save this world from ourselves and to stop the progression of violence, pollution, and catastrophic disasters with our voices and our actions, not with our fists, since that would only strengthen them. We need change and to ungrasp from our past grudges, to form a world of tranquility. We can do this by letting the past be the past and helping each other while focusing on the present and our futures. We need acknowledgement of our past doings and to rebuild and reconnect with those we hurt and we were hurt by, so we can make up with them. Whenever there is peace, there is violence. Whenever there is negatives, there are positives. We are not balanced. We need to change, so our world is not black nor white. Our world can be balanced, fair, and gray. And now how for a way you can make a difference. Share the plate. Each Sunday, our congregation dedicates 100% of its contributions to nonprofit organizations or neighborhood church-based social justice activities that make a difference in our community and around the world. You can donate in one of 2 ways. You can use your cell phone to donate by texting the number on screen, or put your donation in one of the designated boxes during the music or after the service. If you wish to make a payment towards your pledge or contribute to the church operations, make a note in the subject line or use an envelope available at the donation boxes. The Rites of Passage chose Union Station Homeless Services here in Pasadena as a recipient of today's Share the Plate. After the recent fires, we wanted to support an organization that provides immediate relief and is also committed to long-term solutions. Union Station Homeless Services has been serving our community for over 50 years, helping individuals and families move from crisis to stability. Their programs offer a continuum of tailored services to meet the housing, health, and hunger needs of our community. Homelessness is not just about lacking shelter. It is a systematic issue. Before the fires, Los Angeles County was 500,000 units short of affordable housing, leaving thousands on the brink of homelessness. On any given night, more than 75,000 people experience homelessness in LA County, including over 550 right here in Pasadena. With rents higher that far exceed what many can afford, the heartbreaking choice between paying rent and buying food is far too common. At its heart, Union Station is about connection, home, and community, values that align deeply with our mission at Neighborhood. Your donation today will help provide meals, safe shelter, and vital support services to some who need them most. Together, we will rebuild and strengthen our community through the crisis and beyond. Thank you. Please give as you are able.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Abby Basco, and I didn't bring a dog. I'm one of the participants in this year's ROP service. As a freshman in high school, I've explored interests such as dance and music, as well as literature. I've been attending this church my entire life, and in it, formulating my beliefs and ideals. In today's world, we face many tragedies and joys, hardships and comforts. Many real-world issues have impacted my beliefs further, like many in my generation. Combining these, I found myself fixated on the idea that our prejudices and actions can create and shape our futures. A story that often comes to my mind when thinking about my belief that our decisions form our destiny and how I formed it myself was on a trip to Seattle, Washington. Roughly 7, I was exploring this mammoth of a park we'd stumbled upon. Climbing to the top, nearly 25 feet in the air, I found myself caught in an unpleasant scenario. When reaching the tip, the only way back down was to go down this large slide blocked by a young boy around my age. When I pleasantly asked him to get to the side, he said, "Only boys can down this slide." Now, you can see why I was pissed off about that. Eventually, I just nudged him to the side and carrying on with my day. However, I often find myself looking back on this scenario and thinking about how I might be a different person today if I had just chosen a different option. Now, this may seem peculiar, especially because it's such a simple interaction, but when recalling it, would I be a different person if I hadn't gone down the slide anyway, if I instead had submitted to some kid's biased ideal and just gone back the way I came? Straightforward choices can formulate ones we make in the future, whether to keep persisting when facing adversities or simply tremble at them. I don't believe I was the only one who made an impactful choice that day. Some nameless boy decided the best thing he could do was try to stop another child from going down a slide. Maybe he's still following these decisions back in Seattle today, or has changed to become a better person. These decisions aren't entirely his fault, though. Parents and educationers, as well as external forces, can affect our beliefs and our viewpoints in our day-to-day lives. If not educated about biases and more sinister history, we are doomed not only to repeat it, but to keep in a cycle of systematic prejudices and injustices. A similar sentiment was originally assembled by George Centella in 1905, stating, "Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it." Education is quite crucial to development, and if restrained, like how books are banned, can cause calamity later on. Okay, I also have an admission. When writing this, I got a little sidetracked, and turns out George Centella was also mentioned in Billy Joel's, who you'll be hearing later, song "We Didn't Start the Fire," which is now 30 years old. Yeah, I hope you guys feel old right now, but okay. Veering back into faith statement territory, education is a large part of who people are. I formulated many of my ideologies in the classroom, whether it's learning about California missions along with darker past, or how much I hate the noxious smells wafting from the PE locker rooms. Education from schools is often many children's earliest connection to the outside world, and if they're taught in the classroom, often affects the choices they make and principles later in life. If we aren't taught harmful pasts, they will never truly know their meaning, and when educators don't want to address them, awful behaviors only persist. For example, if policemen were further taught to set aside prejudices they've been entertained, or that previous officers had committed, events like George Floyd's murder never would have happened. It just goes to show that we'll never have a more equal and prosperous world if we never learn from our prior experiences and mistakes. Yet another example of how crucial education is. I originally got the idea to focus my faith statements on how futures are created by our decisions because of my English final this past fall. The goal was to write a short summative essay on fate versus free will and the symbolism and impacts on prejudices in John Steinbeck's The Book, The Pearl. John Steinbeck was an award-winning American writer known for books such as Of Mice and Men and The Grapes of Wrath. When overhearing a folklore story when on vacation in La Paz, Steinbeck based his work The Pearl on it, a short novella of around 90 pages. Though I won't go fully in detail of the plot, The Pearl is a parable of sorts about a Mexican pearl diver named Kino, who discovers a quite valuable pearl, and the transformation his life makes because of the evil it attracts. Ultimately, Kino ends up losing his child because of the grasp the pearl held upon him and those greedy enough to fight for it, the cycle repeating endlessly until out of desperation he finally throws the heinous pearl back into the ocean's depths. While writing my essay on the literature, I found myself expressing several of my viewpoints on it. For instance, I found people were indeed destined to become greedy over Kino's new prosperity, especially characters like the Doctor, who, due to his prejudices, viewed himself superior to Kino. His decisions manufactured the character's future, similar enough to form a destiny. All this to say, I do believe we can have a sense of free will. It's just the choices we make, repeated continuously, often can affect and change our futures. In conclusion, I believe that it's our choices that shape our destinies, as well as the world around us. The experiences we often encounter, whether as simple as my experience on the playground that day, or as complex as prejudices that persist to this day, it's the decisions we make while facing them that can impact who we are and our prospects. Each decision we make, it has the power to either reinforce or challenge our ideologies, contributing to our personality and character. By learning from the past and receiving education on it early, we can further break the cycles of injustice and prejudice. Just like Kino's journey in the Pearl illustrates, the consequences and ripple effects from our choices resonate further than just ourselves, affecting those around us and our future generations. It's our responsibility today to be mindful of the decisions we make, recognizing that they shape our futures and destinies, and that something that seems as insignificant as stopping a little girl from going down a slide can forever change her and the history of our world. Thank you.
Hey, my name is Gavin Karna. I'm a 15-year-old boy who likes wrestling, music, hiking, and nature. I'm very passionate about these things that I love because they bring me much joy. One of my favorite things to do is just put on a good playlist or album and just wander. I love wrestling because hand-to-hand combat, to me, is just extremely fascinating. Nature, to me at least, it shows endless fun and possibilities, whether it's jumping off cliffs into water or rope swings attached to branches high above. Nature never gets old, despite how old it may be. Ever since I've been around, my parents have taken me places, all sorts of states, countries, and national parks, you name it. I've been to places like Yosemite, Yellowstone, Muir Woods, Mexico, Ottawa, Toronto, San Francisco, Las Vegas, and Quebec, just to name a few. I like to think seeing all these grand places has greatly altered my mind, but the truth of it is that I was not only too young to remember them, but I also couldn't quite comprehend and appreciate them at the time. I feel stubborn about not being able to remember much about these places, but I was like 6. I was probably busy worrying about 6-year-old problems like taxes and car payments. For the past few months or so, I've been on Upland High School's wrestling team. And let me tell you, we're not the best at all. But it taught me a lot about discipline, commitment, friendship, and teamwork. Having to carry mats to and from gyms as we set up to host one of the largest tournaments in our area was tiring. Also factoring in that we had to work long 8 to 12-hour days to support the tournament didn't help how exhausted we were. But one thing we had was each other to keep ourselves entertained and our morale high. Luckily, our team walked away from such a big event with a lot of money to support the team throughout the year. While I don't quite know if I believe in God or a higher power yet, one thing I know is that I have values. I look for values in friends, in mentors, in role models, in people who look up to me, and myself. Values like being kind, friendly, hardworking, and strong. A character from a show I watch once said, "For me to call a man my friend, he must be equal to me in all respects." And I think this applies to friends especially, but not so much to mentors and role models. Some of my role models are my parents, certain members of the wrestling team, and my wrestling coaches. One person specifically who I look up to a lot is one of the seniors on the wrestling team, Keith Warren. I look up to him because he's not only the best wrestler on the team, but also because he's the captain and has strong leadership values. People look up to him and ask him for directions when we're setting up for tournaments or duels. And they look up to him because he's a quick thinker, he knows what to do, he's a good leader. Back to what I was saying before, while all humans are equal, their values aren't. And values determine character. People know what the right thing to do is, but some don't do the right thing. Those aren't people I want to be like. I want to do the right thing and one day be someone who has a positive influence on those who need guidance. In conclusion, I search for virtuous values within comrades and mentors, while also doing my best to align myself with such values. And while I'm not a religious man, I search for a God who aligns with my values. Finally, I want to thank everyone who has gotten me to this point. Without them, I wouldn't be standing here today. So I'd like to thank the ROP teachers who helped me write this, Eugene, Elizabeth, and Steve, my wrestling coaches, Coach Don, Coach David, and Coach Dole, and finally, my mom, Diana Karna, my dad, Jeff Karna, and my brother, Ben Karna. In conclusion, I'm just a chill guy who, although he doesn't have it all figured out, he knows what's good, and he knows what he loves. Signing off, Gavin Karna.
Our meditative hymn is the circle game. It's going to be a little different today. You're going to be invited to please rise as you are able. The youth is going to lead us in some choreography for it, so give yourself some space. Please rise. Yesterday a child came out to wander, caught a dragonfly inside a jar. Fearful when the sky was full of thunder, and tearful at the falling of the star. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. Then the child moved 10 times round the seasons, skated over 10 clear frozen trees. Words like when you're older must appease him, and promises of someday make his dreams. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. 16 springs and 16 summers gone now. Cartwheels through the town. They tell him, take your time, it won't be long now, till you drag your feet to slow the circles down. And the seas years been by, and now the boy is 20. Though his dreams have lost some grandeur coming true, there'll be new dreams, maybe better dreams and plenty, before the last revolving year is through, and the seasons may go round and round, and the painting always go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. And go round and round and round in the circle game.
Hi, I'm going to be singing Blackbird by the Beatles. Hope y'all enjoy. Singing in the dead. Singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird, fly. Blackbird, fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird, fly. Blackbird, fly into the night, the dark black night. Blackbirds in the night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. You're only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise.
I do want to give a warning before I start. The following faith statement contains humor. At times when a humorous phrase has been stated, you have the speaker's full permission to laugh. Also, the humorous phrases are meant for humor and not meant to cause mental or physical harm. If the humorous phrases somehow do cause physical harm during the faith statement, such as a heart attack, and you are in the vicinity of the speaker, please ask if the faith statement could be stopped and call 911. Thank you. Greetings, Earthlings. My name is Zach Vasco, and I am a 14-year-old Homo sapien male who has released an album, who is really interested in his hobbies, and whose name cannot be spelled right for the life of people. I just want to make it clear. It's Z-A-C-H, Zach, not Backery, which I've actually been called before by someone not in this room, but Zach. Got it? Okay, good, okay. I like to think of myself as a creative person, an idea man, if you would. I like coming up with ideas and creative nuggets. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. For instance, a good idea is making a gamified version of the school system. Like any games that reward you for playing, but with homework assignments. A bad idea is eating Taco Bell and laxatives. I kept that one in there because I knew at least one person would laugh. Okay, here's another idea, releasing an album, which has been okay. Releasing it went great, and I've already released a deluxe version of said album, and I'm getting ready to release another, but a funny thing has been happening lately. When I tell people I've released an album, a lot of people say stuff like, "You've got to be kidding me," and wait, really? No, I'm not lying so that I look like a cool person. I'm just a talented individual. Another idea that I've had over the past month is writing a science fiction book. It is in the very first stages of development, but the basic idea is, you'll find out when you read it. Plus, now I get to convince an entire church to read my book when it comes out. Before I talk about, why you came here, I'm just going to go through some stuff that you might want to know before I get into the baby back ribs of my faith statement. If you didn't get that joke, then let me tell you about Gus's barbecue in South Pasadena. But I digress. Okay. I've played piano since kindergarten and played the trombone for 4 years. I've lived in the same house my entire life, and I have a very severe peanut allergy. I was happy during asynchronous learning in the pandemic, and during the pandemic, I was diagnosed with petite mal seizures. And when we met back in person, I was diagnosed with depression. Try to be a funny person, the only other country I've been to so far is Canada. Hold up. Why did I try to do that all in one breath? Just give me a moment. Whew. Okay. So that's a little about me. Not all that there is about me, but enough as not to exceed the recommended daily amount. Or for you guys accidentally forgetting your entire lives because you needed a place to store so much information. Which hasn't happened yet, but it could happen, theoretically. So, what do I believe in? Well, it's kind of complicated. I've never been one to believe in a god, a person or deity overlooking anything and everything. I have, and continue to, believe in science and factual evidence. But if you can prove to me that there is a God based on scientific evidence, then I might as well believe in one, or multiple. Also, I should point out, we as Unitarian Universalists actually have the freedom to believe in a God or not. And if not, then there's always the option of spirit of life and love, which is basically that we know that there's some higher power up there or working on Earth, but we don't know what it is. I wouldn't call it a divine power, but I would say that I believe in the spirit of life and love. Okay, why I believe in science, though, is really simple. I was interested in science as a kid. I mean, growing up, I wanted to design spacecraft. You know, the thing that every fourth grader wants to do. But to get ideas, I would watch videos or look on the internet. And there's where I probably got my love of science. And, unfortunately, subsequent knowledge. I won't currently bore you with a fun fact, like how names of word phobia sometimes have the phobia in the name, or why NASA made a 3D printed Mars base on Earth and made 4 people live in there for a year with no outside contact and didn't invite me. But if you want one, just know that I am here. If I have to put a name to what I believe in, I would probably be a scientific humanist. I believe that we can use reason, observation, and experimentation to answer a lot of the big questions about the universe. But I also believe in everyone's potential, and I use reason and compassion to guide my actions. Also, due to Pascal's wager, I may as well be an agnostic. So, that's my faith statement. What did I hope that you all would take away from this? I hope that you all at least smirked, or chuckled, or had an ah ha 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 as I talked about what it's like to be a Zach. I'd like to thank everyone who helped me, especially my parents. I don't know a lot of things, but I do know one thing for sure. After this, I'm gonna go get a snack. Thank you.
My name is Madeline Villeneuve. I have been going to this church since I was also in the womb. I attend Glendora High School, where I'm captain of the freshman basketball team. I'm surrounded by loving family and friends, and I am going to make a difference in my life. I believe in second chances, and I try and see the best in people. I have a friend named Maddie, and me and Maddie had a point in our relationship that was kind of rocky, and we had trouble putting our differences aside. However, me and Maddie worked everything out, and we grew close again. I think back to me and Maddie's friendship quite frequently in my other relationships. She has taught me the importance of second chances and shown me how important it is to give people another chance. I remember my past experiences, and it helps me navigate my new relationships. I also believe in fate, and everything happens for a reason. I often get lost in my mind, wondering what could have been and what will be. As funny as it is, I find myself observing the world around me and not being surprised at what is changing, as if I knew it was going to happen. Sometimes I get bewildered when bad things happen, but eventually I realize it was inevitable and can lead to good things, and I find comfort in that. With the recent devastating fires, people have found themselves in difficult situations. However, people have connected and found support and love in the community, bringing everyone together again. I am not sure if I believe in a God or greater power, as the idea intrigues me and gives me comfort that someone is protecting me and looking out for my well-being. I find myself questioning my beliefs when I'm struggling. During basketball season, I find myself praying for a good game and for me to play well. When the opposite happens, I find myself losing faith. Something I am confident is true is 1111 wishes. My mom once told me that when the time is 11:11, you make a wish and be quiet. My moms are such big inspirations to me. I take these wishes very seriously, and for the whole minute, I close my eyes and wish in silence. Last year, I was in math class during 11:11, and I would ask my teacher to go to the bathroom every single day. And every single day, she would let me go. Every day, I would go to the bathroom and just get on my phone. I would never actually use the bathroom. And I never ended up telling her why I was going to the bathroom every day. But really, I was just going to the bathroom to text my mom 11:11. When I tell people that I am captain of my school's basketball team, they tend to assume that I'm the best player. Even though I think I'm a very valuable player, I am a good captain because I am good at helping my team work as a team. I may not shoot all the baskets, but I am the one on the court who makes the team work together. I don't care if one of my teammates is having a bad game. If they are open, I will pass it to them every single time. Basketball has shown me the importance of teammates, and I value my teammates and coaches. In the spring of 2024, I visited Washington, D.C. and New York City with my friends, and I learned things about myself in each place. I was excited to visit because I want to be President of the United States of America. I want to make a difference in my life, and I want to impact the world positively. As politics do interest me, so does the world changing and the people being impacted. I believe every single person deserves a chance, and it frustrates me when I see the inequities of the world. I believe that women deserve as many rights as men do, and everyone deserves rights to their own body. When we were at the White House, I saw many protesters on the street outside. It made me realize how important it is to have a voice. Even though it may be difficult to stand up for what you believe in, it is a very important way to leave an impact. Being able to voice your own opinion is essential in today's society. When I am president, I will listen to you. My best friend, Shaylin, was also on this trip. We had met in 6th grade and continued to grow closer over the years. She has taught me so many important life lessons. Whenever I am with Shaylin, the saying, "It's the people, not the place," goes over in my head. Shaylin has taught me to value friendship and the world in front of me. When we went to the very top of Rockefeller Center, located in the middle of New York City, my friends and I saw a breathtaking view of the city. That saying repeated in my head constantly throughout this trip, and it made me realize no matter if we were sitting in a desk at school or standing on top of a skyscraper in New York City, I would be happy as long as I was with the right people. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Genevieve, and this is Colby, and we're the senior high co-leaders. To begin, on behalf of senior high, congratulations for finishing ROP. It's It's been so cool to watch you all grow up in the church and now be joining us. We can't wait to have you all in our group, and we look forward to learning more about you all.
We are so excited for you to join us on field trips, sleepovers, and volunteering opportunities. It's time for you to transition into a new chapter of your lives, and we hope you let us have an important role in this new era.
Welcome to Senior High.
Please rise in body or in spirit and join in singing our closing hymn, number 1021, Lean on Me.
If we are wise, we know that there
it's me again. We are never complete. We are never finished. We are always yet to be. May we allow others to be and help enable each other to grow towards all that we are capable of becoming. Amen.